Hey everybody, I am Usman Upworkwala, studying level 1 at Rehan School Korangi Campus, and in this episode we are going to do a conversation with Alternate. So let's start our conversation without any waste of time. So let me introduce her by myself. So she known as a media queen. Alternate is a TV host, speaker, and photojournalist and author with 40 years in media experience. Her PR company Expose Media guarantees results. She is passionate about inspiring more good news in the mass media to decrease depression and suicide rates and lift people's spirits. And you also can connect with her at this link I have mentioned. So hi Agni, how are you?
Hello, I am excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Okay, you're most welcome. And I want you to introduce yourself by your words.
Yeah, sure. Well, I am known as the media queen. I have 40 years of media experience. It's been a wild ride through the media. I come from the days of traditional media with TV, radio, and print media, and I have embraced the online media world, the mass media world, social media, very, very active on social media. And I'm very passionate about inspiring more good news in the mass media, helping to lift the energy on the planet and helping to decrease depression and suicide rates. And I love the power of the media to be able to share messages and create major impact in areas that you may feel without the leverage of the media to get your message out, that you may not be able to make the same kind of difference that you would with the media. So it's a very powerful tool when used well, and it's something that can absolutely change lives. So it's great to be on your show, Usman. And I'm very inspired by you, only 13 years of age, my goodness. And I've been interviewed by a few people at the Rehan School now, and you guys are just amazing. So thank you for reaching out. I appreciate you, leaning in like this and wanting to know more about the media and about how this all works. It's a very exciting future for you.
Yes, thank you so much for appreciating me. And so let's move on our first question. So my first question is from you. What inspired you to become a TV host?
Well, it's interesting because my first experience with the media, I was 10 years of age and I was actually interviewed by the media for table tennis. I was a top junior table tennis player. Parts of the world, they call it ping pong. Top player in Sydney, and I was interviewed by the Manly Daily at 10 years of age, and that's where my curiosity for the media started. I never at that thought point, I never thought, I just want to be a TV host. I never thought that at the very beginning, but I had a fascination for the media. It was like the seed was planted when the photographer got up on a ladder, and that back then it was in the film days of photography, where they actually had, negatives that they would process with the film cameras well before digital cameras even came about. And the photographer got up on a ladder and he took a photo of me from the top of the ladder with me with my bat and my ball and looking up at this photographer. I remember thinking, wow, that looks like a really cool thing to do. I'd love to do something like that one day. And then from there at age 11, I was on Cartoon Connection on a big show on Channel 7 on national TV in Australia. And I remember being so scared about speaking in front of 2 million people. And the host said to me, don't think of the 2 million people watching this right now. And I remember being just petrified and I froze on camera. It was a shocking first TV appearance. However, the thing is that everything is hard until it becomes easy, right? So it was kind of like a baptism of fire in the media. And then I had media training as a top junior athlete. Age 13, I then did my own radio show in Sydney at Radio Manly Warringah. And then at 16, I did some work experience at the Manly Daily, went on and did a media degree for 3 years in Canberra, and then traveled around as a journalist and worked in TV, radio, and print media for 20 years. And now I've had my own business as well, where we do publicity for people. We help people package up their genius and get out and be seen, heard, and known so they can build their credibility, their customers, their impact, and their influence in the world. So that's what we do now. And I've actually had my own online TV shows now with Media Queen TV. I've had for at least 15 years different versions of my show. Initially, I actually just started out doing doing shows about things that inspired me and that I love. So I had Media Mastery Show, I had Animal Action TV, I had Truth Expose TV, I had all these different shows, and then I brought it all under the banner of Media Queen TV. And this is all around inspiring truth and good news. So what I've seen, Usman, through the years of the mass media, there's been massive changes happen through the media. I mean, Facebook only started in 2004. So this is before you were born, Usman. Facebook started, okay? And before that, there was no social media, right? So we would watch TV, the traditional TV on, we'd have one TV set at home, and we'd have the radio stations, and that's how we got all our news. But now we have the mass media world. And now we're at a time where there's 5 billion active social media users now across the world out of the 8 billion people on the planet. So really, if you want to get your message to the masses, you have to go where the masses are. And if you don't embrace the new media and the new media channels that come out, then not only will you not have impact, you will not be able to make the difference that you're here to make. You'll not be able to reach your ideal customers, and you're going to get left behind and left in the dark. And this is what happens when you don't embrace the new technologies that come about in the new media channels. So I love doing my own shows now. In fact, I have Media Queen TV, which is my own show around inspiring truth and good news. And I have 2 co-hosted shows I do as well now. I have Total Truth Show that I do with Ken Kleinberg from the US, and I have a show that I do with a lady from Germany called Kirsten Linartz called Media Mavens Show. So 2 co-hosted shows, and then Media Queen TV. And I've also co-hosted Tech Webcast. I did that with 2 guys from Melbourne in Australia, from Victoria, and 1 guy from America. And I never met these guys. And this show was a podcast that had over 1 million downloads in 8 years. And I co-hosted that for 3 years. That show's no longer going, although it was an amazing show and great to be a part of that. So I absolutely love it. Great
Amazing.
question.
Thank you so much for this wonderful answer. And you are right. You are absolutely right that when we start something, so it's becoming hard for us. But when we do this consistently for 2 months, so it becomes nothing for us. So we can do it too much easily. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. Everything is hard until it becomes easy.
Yes.
And inch by inch, everything's a cinch. So just start somewhere. 50% of anything you do is just starting. And then it's amazing what you can do once you start, and you start to build your confidence and get yourself out there. I mean, gosh, at 11 years of age on national TV, it was an absolute disaster. But you know what? I didn't give up. I didn't say to myself, I'm never going to get on TV again. I just kept going. And that's the thing, it's really important to be patient and to have resilience and to keep being a stand for what you believe in, no matter what, right? No matter what happens, of all the outside things we can't control, of how the media work, how many more social media channels are going to come out, what kind of censorship is going to happen through Facebook and YouTube. And I've had quite a bit of censorship as well, let me tell you, where I've gone against community standards, right? And I know that when I do something that goes against community standards, that I know there's some truth in it. So what I'd say, Usman, to you and all your friends, I would encourage you to question everything that you hear in the world, because things are not always as they seem. And particularly if something is being bombarded through the mainstream media, there's usually some other agendas at play. And in fact, today is September 11. September 11. What happened in 2001 with September 11? Well, apparently these planes went into the buildings of the Twin Towers, and then what happened? The war on terror started straight after that, right? So often when something major happens, it's usually a trigger for something else major to happen. And with that next thing that happens, it's always important to look at, is there another agenda at play here? And the way to work that out is someone making a lot of money from what comes out of a disaster, right? What we see as a disaster, right? Is someone making a lot of money from this? And if you really want to know what's going on in the world, follow the money trail, right? Follow where the money goes, and then you'll know what's really going on in the world. So that's why I say always question everything. Keep an open mind. Don't believe everything you hear in the mainstream media. And thank goodness now with social media, we're not just getting our messages from TV, radio, print anymore, right? Now we are the media now. We are the news. We are creating the news. And even when 9/11 happened all those years ago, 23 years ago now, when 9/11 happened, there was other footage that we saw on YouTube that we did not see in the mainstream media. A lot of that footage has now been taken down, right? It's been censored, right? And I always say, well, if there's nothing to hide, Why the censorship? Great question to ask, right? There's nothing to hide. Why the censorship? So a little bit of a tangent there, but really it's saying, look, it's a changing world we're in, and don't believe everything that you hear in the mainstream media. People are giving their opinions about things. You can either believe it or not believe it, but really at the end of the day, what is it that you stand for? What is it that you're passionate about? What is it that saddens you or angers you in the world, and what do you want to see change happen around? Because you can be the change you wish to see in the world. As Mahatma Gandhi said, one of my favorite quotes, be the change you wish to see in the world. Don't just sit back and say, oh, it's all so negative and all this crap's happening, and, whinge about it and moan about it. Do something about it. And now through the power of the media, we can all do something about it, whether it be sharing a post about something, whether it be, commenting about something, say your piece. And it's important, I believe, to be kind to yourself and be kind to others, no matter what your belief. Okay, no matter what you believe, always come from a loving place. It's fear that a lot of people were feeling through COVID, right? There was a lot of fear going on. A lot of people were shut down. There was a lot of people depressed. We had 4 times the suicide rates worldwide than we'd ever had, right? And now we've come out the other side of that, and it's like there's this new hope. There's new hope for humanity now. And I do believe that there is an awakening that is happening in the world. There's some massive shifts going on. People are really reevaluating their life and what's going on for them, and they're realizing that they can make a difference and that they are making a difference, and that life is short. And really, when you think about it, a third of people die by the age of 65. Now, I know, Usman, you're only 13 at the moment, but I tell you what, before long, you'll be 30, you'll be 40, you'll be like, it just, time flies, right? And I remember when I was 13, I thought 20 was old. Then when I got to 20, I thought 30 was old, right? And then I got to 30, I thought 40 was old, right? And here I am, I've just turned 50. I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? Where did the last 50 years go? However, the thing is, it's about the journey. It's about enjoying the journey of life. And it is about, being the kind of person who is willing and who has the courage to step up about what it is you believe in and what it is you're passionate about. I could
Yes,
keep
you
on.
very very amazing, a very amazing answer. And you are right that you should stay in present. Like if we have something like the not happiness in the past, and we are thinking in present that this was happen and this was not too much good, so what I can do. So you should stay in the present, because you cannot go back into your past to solve your problems. So you should stay aware in the present.
Absolutely. That's where the gift is, in the present, right? That's why they call it the present, because it's a gift and it's happening right now. We can't control the past. We can't control the future. We can't control what anyone else does. We can only control how we're going to be in life. We're human beings. We're not human doings or human havings. It's how you're being in life. And for anyone who knows Dr. Hawkins' scale of consciousness, when we are being loving, when we are being joyful, when we are being grateful, when we are being peaceful, when, that's where the highest vibrations are. That's when the most opportunities will happen for us. And that's where we have the most flow in life. Whereas the very stuck energies is where people have fear, anger, grief, shame, sadness, all those things, guilt, right? They're very stuck vibrations. And in stuck vibrations, there ain't no movement happening. We've got to be like the river, right? We've got to be like the waterfall, like allow the flow of life. And the more we appreciate the amazing world that we live in, even despite a few crazy people, there are so many amazing people as yin yang of life. Yin yang of, there's always dark where there's light, and light where there's dark. And as they say, the stars shine brightest on it. What you choose to focus on will grow. If you choose to focus on all the dramas in the world, you're going to keep seeing dramas. You focus on the good stuff of how we can make it change and how we can shift some of these potential dramas, then now you're empowered to take action and make a difference.
Yes, in today's generation, we're just watching dramas, movies. We don't think that we can make these dramas, and we also can make movies by our own self. Or some people think this, and they are like they have a big thinking, critical. They have a good critical thinking, and so let me move on to the next question. So How do you balance your roles as a speaker and author and publicist?
Yes, it can be a real challenge sometimes, let me tell you. I feel sometimes I wish there was more than 24 hours in a day. I really do. I tend to work very long hours. I've never married or had children. I take on rescue cats. I have a rescue cat now, and cats are very low maintenance. So I think that helps, right? Although I do have aging parents and I do spend time with them, etc. But it's a juggle. It's balancing life as a speaker, author, publicist. I think it's important to look at all the areas of life. Look at your health, look at your relationships, look at your work, look at your career, look at money, look at your adventure, look at travel, look at all the different areas. I think really, if you want to balance life, it's important, ideally, to nurture yourself. Now, as a journalist for many years, it was high adrenaline. It's go, 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 deadlines, tight time frames. It was constant high adrenaline. And this is why so many people who are journalists burn out and so many entrepreneurs burn out. In fact, with entrepreneurs, with business people, 98% or so fail within the first 10 years. I've been in business now 22 years. So obviously there's a little bit of resilience and stamina there. So I think it's really important for me. What's been really important is to make time to nurture myself. Like this morning, I went for a walk on the beach here on the Gold Coast in Australia, and I went for a swim in the ocean. I do things like I meditate, I do yoga, I do all these things that empower me. I have great family time. I have time with animals. I appreciate nature. I get into gratitude when I do my Global Good News Challenge, which happens every single month. Right. So I think it's very important to look at how we're doing life overall. To be able to be a great person who's a great speaker, author, and publicist, it's important to also have a great life in general. Because if you're not happy with your life, if you're not doing what you love, then you're not going to stick with anything. Right. So it's very important to find that passion. They call it ikigai. Ikigai is a Japanese term that where you look at, what is it that you love? What is it the world needs? What can you get paid for? Right? It's a beautiful thing. If you look it up, ikigai, for people who think, oh, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Well, it's all there in front of you often. Often we tend to overcomplicate things as human beings, right? We tend to make things harder than that they necessarily need to be. There will be clues in your life right now, the things that you love doing that do not seem like hard work for you. Speaking, writing, and being a publicist and promoting others. I love it. I love seeing my clients shine and get out there in the media and get out and step up and do live videos. I absolutely love it. It lights me up. And I know that's part of my calling. And for a long time, I felt invisible. I was bullied as a kid. I was a first generation Australian. I have Greek, Turkish, Ukrainian background, born in Sydney's Northern Beaches area, which at the time it was a very racist kind of area. And I was bullied. My friends turned against me. I never felt I belonged as a child. And it was quite a journey for many years. I went through a lot of ups and downs. I was very self destructive through my teenage years. I actually had invisible friends at one point. I used to always internalize my anger, which led to depression. And then after going through quite a roller coaster ride through my teenage years, I then came out the other side and I appreciated life more than ever before. Sometimes we need to see some darkness. We need to have some breakdowns in our life to really appreciate coming through the other side. And now I am so grateful for my life. I've seen the dark side. I've had 4 friends suicide. I've seen what can happen when we don't shift our mindset and when we don't work on ourselves. And I've seen hurt people hurt people. And I've seen healed people heal people. And one of the best investments you can ever make is in your personal development. And business development just takes it next level again, right? However, personal development's really where it's at. If you can be the best version of you that you can be, then you will show up as a fantastic a person in your work or in your business. So for me, being a speaker, an author, and a publicist comes naturally to me now. I absolutely love it, and I really light up every time I get out there and I do my thing. Like I'm doing here. This is where I can just keep on chatting, but I know we're on a tight time frame, so I'll let you ask the next question. Thank you, Usman.
So it's like learning never stops. So challenges is a part of life. So when you're facing any challenges, so this will the challenges are telling you that how brave are you, and how can you handle these situations. So this will increase your experience and you will learn from these challenges, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's clues in your challenges. Often it's when people have the biggest breakdowns that they're just on the verge of having a massive breakthrough. Right? It's just a matter of just hang in there, stay there for that roller coaster ride of life, right? We're going to go up, we're going to go down. Sometimes we're going to feel like we're going round and round circles. Sometimes we're going to feel like we're going backwards, but just hang in there, put that seatbelt on, hang in there for the ride, enjoy the ride. When we have our low moments, which will happen, we're going to go up and down this Dr. Hawkins scale of consciousness. We're going to go up and down. In fact, I have a Facebook group called Conscious Community Global where people can see this actual diagram featured in there by Dr. Hawkins, which talks about the areas of flow and the areas of being stuck, from fear to love, moving from fear to love, noticing in your life, where do you have fear? Where are you stopped with something? Where is it you're scared to speak up or scared to step up about something? And how can you smash through that? In Australia, we have this invisible glass ceiling where, it's all about rise to the middle in Australia. We don't generally encourage people to be very successful, or people will put people down if they do become successful. And this is where it's very important to have a great environment of people around you, to do the work on yourself, to hang out with people who are up to big things in life so you can be the best version of yourself, and to learn from all of those challenges because they're definitely teaching you something. And a great question to ask yourself around any challenge is, how is this happening for me? Not why is this happening to me, not to be the victim of it, but actually to look at everything as a learning. The quicker we get the learning, the quicker we can bounce back up and we can get back on with life without being too stuck for too long. However, occasionally we will get stuck. I know for myself, I had burnout many times. I've go, and then crash. Go, crash. And I've had a few near-death experiences where I almost didn't make it. However, thank God I did make it. I've come through, and now I feel stronger than ever. And I feel like I'm just getting started, Usman. 50 years of age, I'm just getting started.
Okay, so
There's another
it's
great
about
quote, actually.
yes, it's about
It's one more quote.
it's about
Yeah, one more quote.
now. Can you hear me?
Over to you. Yes. I'm getting excited. Over to you.
Okay. So I am saying that it's about critical thinking of the peoples. Many peoples give up on some challenges, and many peoples grow up on challenges. They think that the challenges is the learning point. So who thinks that challenges is the learning point, so they can be succeed in them life one day, like you. And my next question is from you. How do you manage to keep your audience engaged? Because this is too much challenging. So I want you to explain.
Yes, thank you. Well, look, I think it's really important to have fun with what you do. Definitely have fun. And I think if you can bring the passion to what you do, you will naturally have people engaged. Okay. And look, not everyone will be. It's important to be committed, not attached to what you want, right? You could go, I really want the audience to do a certain thing. But at the end of the day, you can't control what the audience does. Some people are going to love you, some people are going to hate you. That'll happen regardless. The more you put yourself out there, the more you build a public profile, you're going to have more people that love you and more people that hate you. And that's okay. Right? The people that hate you, they're probably hurting in some way. So what I do is I send them love. I even have my love heart here. I send them love. Okay. Anyone who is being nasty, I just send them love. I don't need them in my environment. Sometimes these people are family, although thankfully I have amazing family and they're not like that. But I know for some people, they have, people who can be really hard on them who are family members. So just send them love, right? If anyone's being nasty. So how to keep them engaged, you've definitely got to have fun with what you do. And even in traditional media, the media don't just want to educate people, they want to entertain people. So really have fun with what you do. Share from the heart. I think that's really important. That's where you really connect with people, when you share from the heart. We need to get out of our head. We have 60,000 thoughts a day. And for most people, 98% of the thoughts are the same thoughts we had yesterday, and 80% are negative for most people. And so we need to get conscious to these thoughts. And ideally, the more you can sort of meditate or connect with your soul, because, we're spiritual beings having a human existence, a human experience is my belief. We are spiritual beings. We're never alone, right? And I think faith is really important. Whatever your faith is very important to realize you're not alone. You're here for a reason. We have 14 generations of DNA that are in us as well. So I do believe your ancestors are supporting you with whatever it is you're doing. Now, my ancestry, I've had family that were killed for stepping up in the Ukraine, that were kulaks, and I've had family running for their life for speaking up against the government, which was my granddad, who ran away from Ukraine, went to Turkey, met my dad's mum, who was Greek, hence the Greek, Turkish, Ukrainian background. Now, I know my ancestors are right behind me, supporting me in what I do, helping people step up and speak up. And in my DNA, I have people killed and running for their life for stepping up and speaking up. And that is exactly why I do what I do. I don't live in fear of either of those things, right? You're either coming from love or fear. And what will be, will be. You know, people like Martin Luther King, JFK, John Lennon, now they were assassinated, right? And those people are absolute heroes in my eyes. Julian Assange, he was persecuted. He shared great truths about some very rotten politicians, right? And he got persecuted for it. He was imprisoned for 14 years or something. He's a hero in my eyes. Julian Assange, amazing, right? And I am all for freedom of speech and freedom of information. And the more people step up and they have the courage to speak up about what matters to them, that's when we're going to see things really shift in the world, right? That's when we're going to see it. But we need more people stepping out of their fear, letting the fear go, or experiencing the fear and acting anyway. Act anyway despite the fear, like you're doing here. You're doing a show, fantastic. 13-year-old, what amazing. People at the Rehan School, I'm blown away by you guys. You're so young and you're getting out there and you're sharing messages and you're interviewing people and you're getting great wisdoms. It's fantastic. We want to see more of this, of sharing people's stories and connecting and engaging with people. Really come from the heart as much as possible.
Okay, thanks so much for the appreciate us, and I want to invite you in our school when you came in Pakistan. So also come in our school and meet with us and my friends.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that one day. That would be wonderful. Thank you so much. I would love that. I'm actually flying to Singapore in 2 weeks. I've just been, I just won an award, actually, a Global Women of Influence Award, which is very exciting. So off to Singapore in a few weeks, and I would love to go to Pakistan one day. I've never been there, so I would absolutely love that. Thank you so much for the invitation, and keep up the great work. You're doing amazing.
Okay, so thank you so much for sharing this wonderful and valuable knowledge with my audience and with me. So
My pleasure. And I just want to say one thing. It takes a lifetime to be an overnight success. Okay, it takes a lifetime. So very important. Be committed to what you do. Don't worry about what other people think. You just stay on your path. Build the resilience, do the inner work, find mentors who can help you fast track your success, and do what lights you up. Do what you love, and then that way you're going to have the most magnificent life.
Thank you so much for this wonderful advice. Okay, so everybody, I am Usman Upworkwala, and our guest was today is Tony. So I want to end my today's program here. So I hope you liked it, and I hope this will be valuable and knowledgeable for you. And I hope you have learned a lot from today's conversation. So thanks so much for again coming in my show.
Thank you so much, Usman. And for those who've been watching us, let us know in the comments, what did you get from this conversation today? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What did you learn today? What are you going to maybe take on and do moving forward from here? I'd love to hear from you what you thought of this show. And I've loved being on your show. Thank you so much, Usman. It's been an absolute pleasure to be on your show. And I'm very grateful that you reached out and you made it happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.